I am a unifier. We're going to be a unified party.
He is a con artist.
A phony.
Donald Trump is the know-nothing candidate.
Donald is a bully.
This is an individual who mocked a disabled reporter.
I don't remember.
Who attributed a reporter's questions to her menstrual cycle.
Blood coming out of her wherever.
The most vulgar person to ever aspire to the presidency.
The man who seems to only feel big when he's trying to make other people look small.
Don't worry about it, little Marco.
Gentlemen.
Small part of an ad that was tweeted out today by Hillary Clinton, their newest attack ad against Donald Trump. Now, people believe they know who Donald Trump really is. For that matter, we're a nation filled with people so certain they know exactly who Ted Cruz is at his core, who Carly Fiorina really is, what Jeb Bush is like when he's not in front of a camera. Let's go the nth degree. There are plenty of people who are dead shot certain they know the exact type of person every single one of the Real Housewives are, because we see them every week, proving how much money really bad actors can make without trying to be real. Come on, fact is, no one really knows what's at the core of an individual without using their own words and actions as a guide. Keep that in mind. Welcome back to The Hardline. Adjunct professor at Columbia University, author of The Trumps, 3 Generations of Builders and a Presidential Candidate, Gwenda Blair. Gwenda, it's a pleasure to see you again. And I want to begin with contradictions, if you will, and see if this is something that you saw a lot when you wrote the book and when you studied a lot about the Trumps. Because Political Magazine had an article that came out today that I found fascinating for this discussion. It talked about Donald Trump's greatest self-contradictions. My goodness, this is pages and pages. It goes back to the 1990s, sometimes even the 1980s in some cases, and looks at things he said and then is backed up on. Did you find that to be true about the man that you researched and wrote about?
I think he was contradicting himself like in elementary school, but since he's been a teenager, certainly when he first launched himself into Manhattan, his trademark, his brand, the thing he's built everything on is being unpredictable. Somebody that you have to pay attention to because you don't want to miss the next thing he's going to do. And that includes, as we've seen in the election cycle, contradicting himself, denouncing people you never would have thought he would be denouncing, the Pope. But are we still watching him? Yeah.
What is it then, in your experience, about Donald Trump, specifically the man and how he handles himself, that would allow him to say things, back up 24 hours later or 24 years later, and people will completely forgive him? Because it's fascinating to watch, because in this cycle, in this country, we usually don't seem to forgive that quickly.
I think the book that I wrote, you gave the title, it's Donald's father, his grandfather, and Donald himself, 3 generations. And each one of these Trumps has been really an ace at scoping out the market and going for it. And what voters are looking for now is somebody who says that they're not part of everything that's broken, they're not part of what's not working and making your life miserable, and they're outsiders, but they're really successful, they're full of accomplishments, they can do it, they can take care of it. Who does that spell? I think it's Donald Trump. He's very good at seeing, now he sees voters as consumers. What do they want? They want somebody different, and they want to be entertained. They want something that's they never know what's ahead, so they'll tune into him every single night. Politician means boring. He's not boring.
I'm going to hit on something you just said because that's fascinating. You said consumers. Now, today, Donald Trump tweeted out a picture of himself from his office in Trump Tower eating from a taco bowl, and he made the point to talk about the best taco bowls are made in Trump Tower Grill, which a lot of restaurant critics in New York say is one of the worst places in the world to eat. He put out a happy Cinco de Mayo. He's basically out there trying to appeal to the Hispanics who overwhelmingly do not want him as president. Isn't this is a beautiful example. He's trying to nail the consumer right between the eye. He's a marketing genius.
Yes, he's been selling himself since he came into Manhattan in the 1970s. He's been selling the brand Trump. He is really good at it. Real estate, then casino gambling, then Celebrity Apprentice, which, by the way, was a masterclass in selling yourself as the boss, as the guy in charge, the nation's CEO. What could be more natural than to go from everybody saw him for 10 years every week as the boss? It seems very, like a matter of course that he would go to the White House. Well, why not?
I've only got a few seconds left. Do you think that Donald Trump, though, the man the ego that he has, and it's a healthy ego, can he become presidential?
he's a practical guy underneath it all or behind it all or whatever preposition we want to use. He likes to strike a deal. He wants to make it happen. He'll look for the weak spot. He'll look for the give. And he is a negotiator. He's very good at that. He was famous in New York real estate business circles for, much as he might seem not to know anything, he gets into that negotiating room. He's got the deal points down.
And the American people hope he...
Does that translate to politics? We don't know.
Ah, see, there it is. We'll have to wait on that. Gwenda Blair, thanks so much for joining us. We always appreciate your time. Thank you. We got about 60 seconds left. Let's go to Jim in Buffalo, New York, to tell us why he likes Donald Trump. The outsider factor. You got 30 seconds, Jim. Go.
Hey, how you doing today? And thank you for taking my call.
Go.
I just wanted to talk about the fact that we have politicians, or we have people that get elected as a politician, going out to do the right thing, and then somehow turn corrupt. But the fact of the matter is, we only have a scale of people that they put out there for us to vote on. It's like going to the store and getting eggs. You pick the best dozen. So, I don't understand why people would think that this is the people's fault, because it's really not. We only have a certain amount,
a certain few to go ahead and pick from, and it seems sometimes that we never have enough, but sometimes we have just enough. Thanks a lot, Jim. We appreciate it. Dave in Philadelphia, PA. You got 20 seconds, Dave. Ask your question.
Hey, I wanted to know why people were so happy with Paul Ryan being elected into his position, because he's the guy that gave Obama everything he wanted in his, bill.
I think what happens is, to answer your question, people think that he's the guy that hopefully can forge the compromises that will be good for the Republican Party. Your question's well taken. More calls later on. Stay with us on the